Good evening, everyone. How are you all? कैसे हैं सब? Last day, last class. Going to finish this, the leftover topics, the chapter, and audit and assurance for batch 4. How's the feeling? How's the Josh? Tell me, please. Give me that required Josh. What are you all up to? Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. So let us finish this chapter with the remaining topics. I hope by now you would have been started to getting used to this chapter. The specific audit points, the common points. I just want to give you one suggestion that whenever a question is asked in the exam of auditing, what the students usually commit mistake is they usually take up common points and start elaborating them in every question. Right? If you are being asked to write the steps involved in the audit of or in the audit program of a hospital, in the audit program of an educational institution, charitable institution, hotel, so they all are different, right? You cannot go and order a main course in the hospital. You cannot go and ask for like medicines in the cinema hall. You cannot go and ask for education in a charitable institution, and you cannot go and ask for drinks in the like educational institution. There are some common points which are applicable to every kind of this organization, but you have to make sure that you write the specific points. These common points are just the starters or the appetizers type. The main course is the specific points which relate to that particular topic. If it is a hospital, you have to talk about patients. You have to talk about invoices. First, if you have to give lesser points, then go for the best and the specific points. In a question, you are asked to write the audit steps in the audit program of a hospital. In the next part, you are being asked the audit program of a club. And you are writing 4 to 5 points. And 4 to 5 points are the same. Internal controls, fixed assets, and constitution. That won't make up your answer. You then try using those common points in one point and then write for some specific points which are specific to that particular kind of organization, right? This is the most common mistake students commit while writing auditing answer. I am reiterating it time and again. Be very specific with the answer you give to any question. The examiner gives you different kinds of question, and the examiner expects specific answers from you to each and every question. If you're going to write that khichdi in every answer, that same thing in every answer, relating to the basics of auditing, you are not going to get good marks. As far as auditing is concerned, this is what I have to tell you, and you must take care of these points while writing your answers in the examination. Okay? So we are left with 3 topics, 2 very small topics: audit of a cinema hall, hire, purchase and leasing companies, and leasing companies. So let us go through the basics. What is hire purchase? The concept. So hire purchase agreement means an agreement under which goods are let on hire. Hire in layman terms means rent. To use an asset. In layman terms, it means rent. It is just to make you understand. Don't write rent. It is hire purchase, and you have to write hire only. The hirer is the person who gives that particular thing on rent. So we have the hirer, who takes it, right? Hirer is the person who takes the particular asset on rent under hire purchase agreement. He has the option to purchase them. He has the option to purchase them in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Which agreement? This hire purchase agreement. So the hire purchase agreement would entail that yes, this is our agreement, and if this after this point of time or at this point of time will give the hirer, the person who has taken particular asset on hire, the option if he wants to purchase the particular asset. Instead of giving rents, he can. So hirer means the person who is a hirer. Hirer means the person who obtains or has obtained possession of goods from an owner under a hire purchase agreement. The ownership is with the owner only. So this is an asset. This is the owner. And this is the hirer. So under an HP agreement, hire purchase agreement, the first step is taking this particular asset on hire. Now, as per the agreement, after a certain point of time, the owner will give hirer the option to purchase it. So first step is taken on hire. Second step is purchasing it if the hirer wants. Okay. So owner is the person who lets or has let, delivers or has delivered possession of goods to a hirer under a hire purchase agreement. I hope you understand this basic English. Lets or has let, delivers or has delivered. It is a routine language. Obtains, lets, daily course, and delivered. This is quite confusing. Suddenly I get to see questions, ma'am, and then I remember what you told me about that this is some technical glitch. Okay. So in order, now hirer takes a particular asset on possession on hire basis. Owner gives it in order to complete the purchase of or for the acquisition of property in the goods to which the agreement relates. So basically, what is hire purchase? The first step is the asset is given on hire. Then the option is given to the hirer to purchase that particular asset, to transfer the ownership from the owner to the hirer. It is a hire purchase agreement and includes any sum so payable by the hirer under the hire purchase agreement by way of a deposit or initial payment. So he pays the installments as well as some deposit or other initial. You might have done the questions in hire purchase. This were the installments, this was the cash payment or the down payment. And after this particular point of time, the hirer purchased the asset in this lump sum payment. So this is basically the concept of hire purchase. You get to see hire purchases, for example, trucks, vehicles, transport companies, right? Or the factories, some manufacturing entities take machine on hire purchase basis. After some time, they purchase it from the owner. So what does the hire purchase agreement include? The hire purchase agreement includes the possession of goods is delivered by the owner thereof to a person on a condition that such person pays the agreed amount in periodical installments. What is the agreed amount? Basically, the installments. Agreed amount is what? Hire purchase price. Hire purchase price is the agreed amount, which includes the cost plus interest. That is the agreed amount. And that is to be paid in periodical installments. The property in goods is to pass. Property in goods. I hope you all have read Sale of Goods Act. What do you mean by property in goods? The property in goods is to pass to such person on the payment of the last of such installments. After you pay the last installment, the property in goods means ownership. The ownership passes on to the hirer. And such person has the right to terminate the agreement at any time before the property so passes. Before he purchases the agreement, if due to any of the covenants, he wants to terminate the agreement, the hirer, they may terminate the agreement. And whatever be the compensation or anything, it is depends upon their agreement, what had they decided mutually while entering into that agreement. So the main part is possession. What does the hire purchase agreement include? About possession, transfer of property in goods, and termination of agreement in any case. These are the 3 points which form an important part of the hire purchase agreement. Now, in the case of hire purchase companies, what do we need to check? The auditor's consideration. So what do the auditor need to check? The form of the hire purchase agreement. It should be in writing, not verbally, and signed by all the parties. Who are all the parties? The hire purchaser and the owner. These are the parties. So the agreement needs to be in writing and it should be signed by all the parties. As an auditor, I have to check this. Now, what do I need to check in the hire purchase agreement? Proper calculations and everything written properly. What is that? The hire purchase price of the goods to which the agreement relates. So what is the hire purchase price? Cash price. Cash price is without interest on the spot payment plus interest element. So this is the hire purchase price. So the hire purchase price of the goods to which the agreement relates, the cash price of the goods, the price at which the goods will be purchased by the hirer for cash on the spot payment. No delay in time. Time value of money carries. This is the concept of time value of money, charging interest. The date on which the agreement shall be deemed to have commenced. Commenced means started. Suppose you have started, deemed to have commenced, माना जाएगा अभी start हो गया. Deemed to have means माना जाएगा. The number of installments by which the hire purchase price is to be paid, the amount of each installment, the date or mode of determining the date upon which it is payable, and the person to whom it is payable and the place at which it is payable. Quite normal points. Quite normal points. The goods to which obviously the goods, it is a truck or anything, whatever it is, the goods to which the agreement relates in a manner sufficient to identify them. Form, HP agreement particulars and regular installments. Ensure that installment payments are being received regularly as per the agreement. So I am auditing on behalf of the owner. It is the interest of the owner which is at stake under a hire purchase agreement. So I have to check that installment payments are being received regularly and as per the agreement. There are no defaults. If there are defaults, what methods, what steps are being taken to recover those defaults. Right? So this was about hire purchase. Okay? This was the concept of hire purchase and auditing hire purchase companies. Now let's switch to leasing companies. So in a lease agreement, a party called lessee acquires the right to use an asset for an agreed period of time in consideration of payment of rent to the other party. So we have a lessor and the lessee. They enter into an agreement. The lessor is the owner. The lessee is the one who pays the rent. Take the example of coal mines. So the owner of the mine enters into an agreement with an extracting company which extracts coal from the ground. They enter into a lease agreement. They give that particular land or mine on lease to the extracting company, and that company extracts coal from the earth, sells that coal, and give the lessor rent for that particular use of the asset. They don't own the asset. There is no provision that after a certain time the lessor will transfer his coal mine to the lessee. No, the ownership always remains with the lessor. The lessor just gives the right to use his asset for a certain period of time, and they give him the rent. So this is lessor and lessee. Okay. In certain, now this is the common basic. What is a leasing company? The second. In certain lease agreements, the legal ownership of the asset remains with the lessor, but in substance, all the risks and rewards of ownership of the asset are transferred to the lessee. Then in certain lease agreements, there are some exceptions, though legal ownership remains with the lessor. But practically, in substance means practically, if we see on ground level, all the risks and rewards of ownership of the asset are transferred to the lessee. So the lessor will say, for example, he gives on lease the coal mine. He will say, whether you get, how much coal you get, I don't care. The risk and reward is yours. Legal ownership is with me, but whatever be the risk is there, whatever be the rewards are there, I just want my lease rent. So this is known as lease rent. I just want my lease rent. The risk and reward with everything related to the asset is yours. So, in other words, the lease is in fact a kind of a financing arrangement. There are two kinds of lease. There is an operating lease and there is a financing lease. Okay, so the two types of leases, financial lease and operating lease, we have in our module. We'll see that the difference between financing lease and operating lease. So what is the procedure of entering into a lease agreement? The lessee selects the equipment. First point, the lessee selects the equipment and satisfies himself about its functional fitness and specifications. The lessor has no participation at this stage. So lessee will check the equipment, lessee will check whether it is functionally fit to work as per my requirement. Okay. Having chosen the equipment, the lessee approaches a lessor, either directly or through a lease broking agency. For example, if you need a space on rent, hostel, PG, a home, or a commercial office space, you always approach a broker, real estate agent, someone who arranges for you properties to be taken on rent. In the same way, for leases, there is lease broking agency. You approach a lessor directly, or if you want, you can take the help of a lease broking agency, paying them commission. Can anybody send me a query? I suppose the query session has stopped working. Are you able to send queries? Please check. Okay, it's working now. Oh my God. This person from another batch has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15 times good evening. Seriously? Chali. So we have the lessor and the lessee, and we approach the lessor through lease broking agency. Then we come to the lease agreement. The lease agreement is negotiated. The rates are finalized, the lease rates. Lessor places an order on the manufacturer as chosen by the lessee. So whatever kind of customized machinery or asset the lessee requires, the lessor places an order for him. He might have to get that asset purchased, or he might be already owning that particular asset. Manufacturer delivers the equipment on the site of the lessee. For example, it could be like a constructor being the lessee, and constructor being the lessee, and he might ask the lessor that I need this kind of machine. The lessor says, okay, I'll get delivered this kind of machine. The lessee will take it on lease, and after completing the work, he will give it back, return it back to the lessor. The lessor may give it to on lease to other person. It is the same way like taxis on hire, right? Or costumes are taken on hire, costumes for a boutique. These are some layman examples of lease agreements. The lease agreement will give detailed terms of contract. Detailed terms of contract. Okay. They are normally full payout, the term varying as per requirements. Term is the duration of the lease. Term is the duration of the lease. During the lease period, the lessee will pay lease rentals regularly as per the lease agreement, will keep the equipment in good repair and working condition. Doesn't mean that ownership is not with the lessee. That means he can use it endlessly, doesn't get it repaired, or makes it working condition to be really poor. Will be entitled to any manufacturer's warranties or after sale services. So since the ownership is with the lessor, but the entity using it, the leasing company. So all the manufacturer warranties and after sale services, the lessee is entitled to those rights, the warranties as well as the after sale services. At the end of the lease period, equipment shall retreat. Retreat means will be given back to the lessor. The lessee may, however, be given a renewal right. Do you want to get the lease renewed? Or may be allowed to participate in the purchase of the equipment if the lessor intends to sell it. So it is at the end of that agreement. He might ask the lessee to, if he wants to purchase it, okay, and this purchase option should be given in the lease agreement. In hire purchase, this is an agreement where the asset would be taken on hire first, and it is usually but obvious that it will be purchased later on. In leases, it is not required. If the option is given in the agreement, the options are completely minimal. In hire purchase agreement, the probability of the hirer purchasing the particular asset is very high, more than 90%. And in the case of leases, the probability of the leasing company purchasing the leased asset is usually 10%. The second point of procedure is having chosen the equipment, the lessor says, for example, I am a builder and I require a certain machine. A machine, for example, it could be like a machine which works like an elevator or a lift to be used specifically for my building purpose. I'll approach a company or I'll approach a lease broking agency that I require this kind of machine. I don't want to purchase it permanently. I require it this for a particular project. For example, project A. I require it for a particular project only. And I have chosen the equipment. I've researched online. I've seen somewhere else. I chose my equipment. And through a lease broking agency, I approach some machinery manufacturer or a person who trades in such heavy machinery. He'll say, I'll purchase the asset on your behalf. I'll get the asset manufactured on your behalf and give it to you on lease. Okay, lease is the best example. घर में paint करवाया ना? What does the painter do? The painter gets the ladder and the roofs from a shop on lease. He says, we'll give it lease rent. The ladder and the ropes, he keeps it at the premises for that particular point of time till the time he completes the painting of that building. Afterwards, he returns the ladder and ropes to the owner. So he chooses what kind of ladder, of how many steps, what height he requires, what kind of ropes he requires. Then he approaches the person, the trader who purchases in trade, or any person who gives such equipments on rent and takes it on lease. I hope, Tanu, that is clear. In the case of leases, what are the audit considerations? Object clause of the leasing company to see that goods like capital goods, consumer durables, so capital goods, consumer durables, in respect of which the company can undertake such activities. So the leasing company, every country has its memorandum of association and there is an object clause in MOA. You have to check in the object clause that the company which has taken on lease a particular asset, whether it is a capital good or a consumer durable, this kind of activity is included in the list of activities mentioned in the object clause of the company's MOA. And if it is a financial lease, it should be checked whether the company can undertake financing activities or not, giving the asset under a financing arrangement. Now, what we have to check, whether there exists a procedure to ascertain the credit analysis of lessee. Whether the lessee will be able to meet the commitment under lease, will he be able to give us the rent? What is his past record in the industry, credit record? What capital does he carry in his books of accounts? And whether he can give us some collateral security or not. Even in the case of ladder or ropes, when the painter takes it, they give a security deposit to that person. 100 rupees, 200 rupees. And on returning that particular asset, the collateral security is released. It could be a security deposit, it could be anything. What should be examined in the lease agreement? The description of the lessor, the lessee, the equipment being given on the lease, the location where the equipment is to be installed. Basically, capital and heavy equipments are considered in the lease. There is usually a stipulation. What is a stipulation? Stipulation means a condition. Terms and condition, make condition that the equipment shall not be removed from the described location except for repairing of that equipment. The amount or the tenure of lease, dates of payment, late charges, deposits, advances, everything like hire purchase. Whether the equipment shall be returned to the lessor on termination of the agreement or the cost shall be borne by the lessee. Whether the agreement prohibits the lessee from assigning and subletting the equipment and authorizes the lessor to do so. So, as per the agreement, whether the lessee can sublet the lease property, whether the lessee can sublet leased property or not. So this is to be checked as per the lease agreement. Examine the lease proposal form submitted by lessee. Ensure that invoice is retained safely, as lease is a long-term contract. Leases usually rated 12 to 21 years. Leases. Invoice of the machine you have got manufactured or purchased. The lessor will get the machine or the asset manufactured or purchased because it would be his business to give it on lease. He will get it manufactured, and further he'll keep on giving it to lease to every person whoever requires, the customers, the business customers. So he says, I'll get it manufactured, I'll purchase it, and I'll be earning rent on it by giving it on lease. Examine the acceptance letter obtained from lessee indicating that the equipment has been received and it is acceptable to the lessee, all the conditions. See the board resolution authorizing a particular director to execute the lease agreement properly passed. Copies of a very important point. If there is an asset involved, you should check whether it has been properly insured or not, and you should check it with the lessor because he is the owner. Proper insurance policy purchased against the asset or not, and what is the value of the insurance policy, whether it is sufficient or not. So in the case of leasing company, these are the audit considerations which we need to take care of. I hope everything is clear now. Are we good? There was some questions relating to carries and some problems on the app. Are we good? Someone please send a query. Can anyone please send a query? Any doubts or issues with respect to hire purchase and leasing companies? Please come up with it. Subletting. Okay. Wait. Okay. Let us take 3 volunteers. Okay. Pooja, Sandeep, and Tanu. So Pooja has this laptop and she gives it to Sandeep on rent. Okay. She gives it to Sandeep on rent, and Pooja says that she will charge 1,000 rupees per month. And then we have Tanu. Sandeep uses a laptop. He requires a laptop for 3 months. Pooja gives it on rent for 6 months. Pooja says, I'll return me the laptop after 6 months. So Sandeep further gives the laptop to Tanu on rate of rupees 1,200 per month. So this is called giving, letting, to give or let. The first occasion is called letting, and the second occasion is called subletting. When you yourself are not the owner, owner is someone else. Owner is someone else. You yourself are not the owner, have taken a particular asset on rent and further give it on rent. This further process is called subletting. Another example. This is my house. Two floors, one floor, second floor, first floor, ground floor. B comes to me and wants the house on rent. I give the house to B on rent. B takes the whole house on rent at the rate of 30,000 per month. Further, B feels that he requires only ground and first floor. He is not using the second floor. So what does he do? Either B approaches C or C approaches B, and B further gives the second portion, the second floor on rent to C at 13,000 per month. So this is letting, the first occasion, and because A is the owner and B is the tenant. Now when B is the tenant, he is giving rent for the whole building, and further he has sublet the building to C. This is called subletting. So the rent which A is getting from B, this would be income from house property under taxation for A, because A is the owner. But for B, he is receiving 13,000 per month from C for one floor, and he is not the owner. So subletting incomes falls under income from other sources. This is the difference between letting and subletting. I hope, Sandeep, it is clear, letting and subletting. Any other doubts, please? Okay, the issues you are facing in the query session, they are resolving it at backend, and you just keep on refreshing the web page. If you feel the issue, it will get resolved in 3 to 5 minutes. Please bear with them. Okay. Okay, so I hope this letting and subletting is clear. So let us move to our next topic, audit of a cinema hall. Fine. So let us go and watch a movie. Cinema hall. This term was lost somewhere during 2020 and 2021. We missed watching movies, going and watching movies in the cinema halls. So audit of a cinema hall. So let us first of all uh, write some points which would be interesting while auditing, which we usually see that practically while going to a cinema hall, we experience certain steps, certain transactions which are uh, quite helpful while auditing the statements of a cinema hall. So the first point is, okay, hire purchase, I told you what is basically hire purchase. Hire purchase is a person A enters into an agreement with persons B for a particular asset to be given on rent, and after a certain period of time, this particular person B, the hirer, purchases this asset from the owner by paying a certain price. Lease is the same person. Okay, lease. So lease is A gives an asset to B on lease. He is the lessee. A is the lessor. Right? And on rent. And after a certain period of time, the asset is returned by A, B to A and not purchased. So this is the basically difference between lease and hire purchase. Okay. So we are with a cinema hall. Be with me. So fine. So this is my cinema hall. I go and purchase the ticket. So the first point, what would be the first point? The first point would be whether I purchase the tickets at the booking counter for cash or online. Any taxes involved to be checked, properly accounted for. Okay. Then my show is about to start in half an hour. I wait in the lobby. So the normal points, fixed assets. Okay, I missed a very important point, internal controls. So nobody can enter the cinema hall without showing a ticket over here to the security staff without being checked. If you have a ticket, the booking counter might be outside that cinema hall, adjacent to it. You have to purchase this ticket and you have to show it over here, and then only you can enter the main area. So internal controls, purchase of tickets, fixed assets, the furniture and everything. Then you go for your movie. These are also the fixed assets, the chairs, the screens. And at the start of the movie, advertisements are shown on the screen during intervals and all. So this is also a source of revenue, be it local advertisements, domestic advertisements, whatever it is. It is also a source of revenue. So sources of revenue. Advertisements are a source of revenue. Then in the interval, you come and order for popcorn, drinks and everything at the refreshment. What is the agreement with the snacks counter? Are the stalls or everything under the rent agreement or, sorry? Okay, sir. Okay, right, sir. ठीक है मैं बोल देता हूँ. So guys, the queries problem has been resolved and I'm able to see all the queries. Okay. So if it is not still resolved at your end, just refresh the web page. Okay. So there is this agreement with them or a royalty basis sharing. Fine. Then normal controls, normal vouching, and what is important, Pooja, I've already explained the difference between hire purchase and lease in short. Your queries are being received. And the most important point is the agreement with the distributor. What share of the revenue from the sale of tickets is being retained with the cinema hall? What is the agreement with the distributor? So this is all what would be covered in the audit of a cinema hall. Let us delve in depth. The special steps involved in an audit are stated below. Verify, the first point is verify the internal control mechanism. So the entrance to the cinema hall during show is only through printed tickets, or you can show them online, or even you can go there and punch in your ticket booking number and get the ticket printed out from that automatic vending machine, ticket vending machine. The tickets should be serially numbered and bound into books. The tickets, they have to issue to the customer. At the booking counter, I have to check how are the tickets being kept. So the tickets should be serially numbered and they should be bound, properly bound into books, ticket book, from where the tickets are issued to the customers on the payment of fee. That the number of tickets issued for each show and class we know, premier, box, or gold, silver, these kind of classes are different to the numbers of the same class for the show the same day each week runs serially. So there is separately numbered tickets kept, and they should run serially throughout the week or throughout the day. It should not be like this: A2 has been issued in the morning show and A1 is being issued in the evening show. They should run serially. As an auditor, I have to check that, because the sequence, if there is a problem with the sequence of issuing the tickets, it will be really a mess. That for advance booking, a separate series of tickets is issued. For example, we buy online or we book in advance for after 3-day show, or somebody goes there and gets the ticket booked. We usually book the tickets online these days. The inventory of tickets is kept in the custody of a responsible official. This is where, in the case of theaters and all, where tickets were kept in physical mode. So this was relevant at that point of time and is relevant today as well, where physically numbered tickets are kept. Otherwise, usually today the tickets are being booked online through websites or through apps. So this problem doesn't arise. The auditor has to check on sampling basis these some of the sample online tickets. Now these are the internal controls. Then receipt from the shows. Confirm that the end of the show, a statement of tickets sold is prepared, how many tickets were sold and at what amount, which class, and cash collected against it is agreed with it. Cash collected or through online payments, through apps and etc. It should be agreed to with the statement you have prepared for each show. Not me. I'll get the statement prepared from the staff of the cinema hall, and I'll get it checked on sampling basis as well. Some of the shows that the statements they prepare with the tickets sold, the cash collected or the online payments tally with it. So a record is kept of the free passes, and these are issued under proper authority. Free tickets, you get free tickets. You just make a transaction of this much amount on the app, and this particular app will give you free tickets for movie tickets every fortnight or monthly. So there, a record of free passes is maintained, and it is being issued with proper authority, and the proper terms and conditions are satisfied. Reconcile the amount of entertainment tax, this is basically GST now, collected with the total number of tickets issued for each class, and vouch and verify the returns filed each month. Taxes, definitely taxes are to be taken into consideration. Taxes are to be taken into consideration when movies are announced tax-free in many parts of the country. What does it mean? No tax on this movie. Let me see. Okay, so right. So the taxes, they want that the movies be exempted. Some movies of national importance, they be exempted from tax. This is what the GST. Initially, the entertainment tax was collected. Vouch the entries in the cash book in respect of cash collected on the sale of tickets for different shows on a reference to daily statements which have been tested with the record of tickets issued for different shows held. Basically checking the cash book, gone era when cash was collected and all. Today also many of the bookings are done online, but if cash tickets are sold in cash as well. Okay, so you just have to check the tickets with the cash book and the daily entries, a test check that for different shows, whatever tickets are issued, proper entries are made for the collection of cash in the cash book. Advertisement check for the advertisement agreement, charges collected for advertisement slides and shoots by reference to the register of slides and shorts exhibited kept at the cinema as well as with the agreement entered into with advertisers. Slides is what is shown on the screen, and what are shorts is you could see some banners over there while booking tickets, and some wall advertisements, banner advertisements in the parking area. Everything, banners are there, or there you would say displays are there. Local people can advertise over there, or companies can advertise through the screen during the time of interval before the start of the movie. So what is the agreement with such advertisers? And what are the charges collected? Compare it against the expenditure incurred on advertisements, any promotional campaigns to check whether they relate to 1 year only or the expenditure relates to 2 or more years. So they have to be capitalized accordingly. But I'll have to get it, I would say, cleared or renovated, minor renovation every year. So that minor renovation charges would be revenue in nature. So I have to keep a check on the expenditure, that how is the cinema hall treating the expenditure, whether the expenditure to be capitalized is being capitalized properly, and of the revenue nature is being shown in the profit and loss account, charged in the profit and loss account annually. Income from restaurant and stalls, again, what is the sharing agreement with the restaurant? Is the restaurant owned by the cinema multiplex owner, or it has been given on lease the space? Whether a fixed sum is given to the multiplex owner, or a fixed percentage of the taking that may be receivable annually. Taking is whatever is earned by the restaurant. Whatever is earned by the restaurant, a fixed percentage of the taken annually. That could be the agreement. In case the restaurant is being run by the cinema itself, its accounts should be checked, and audit should cover sale of various items of foodstuffs. How are the foodstuff purchased? What margin is maintained? From what sources are they purchased? That we have discussed in the case of a club as well. Now, fixed assets. Okay. Now, fixed assets. Verify the existence of all fixed assets with the register maintained, depreciation on machinery, expenditure incurred on repairs, all this thing. Okay. Then agreement with distributors. Vouch payments on account of film hired with bills of distributors, and in the process the agreements concerned should be referred to. So you have to vouch payments. What is the agreement with the distributors? Distributors are the persons who are the intermediaries between the producers who make the film to the film, which is the multiplexes. The intermediaries basically. Okay. So vouch payments on account of film hire with bills of distributors, and in the process the agreements concerned should be referred to. Okay. What is the distributor agreement with? What is the agreement with the distributor? The multiplexes purchase the films on hire basis. So the bills of the distributors need to be checked. what is the sharing arrangement, what is how much would be retained by the multiplexes and how much would be given to the distributors. Examine unadjusted balance out of advance paid to the distributors against film hire. So we might have given some caution money, some deposit to the distributor, and check whether there is any balance which remains unadjusted against what was due to them or from them. We had given them advance. It should be adjusted against what is required to be given to them after a successful running of films, whatever collections we get by the sale of tickets. So we have to check if there is any balance still lying in their account which has not been adjusted. It is good and recoverable. Either the distributor will return it to us, the advance, or it will be adjusted in the future with some other movie. If any film in respect of which an advance was paid has already run, it should be inquired as to why the advance has not been registered. So we should ask, for this particular film, this distributor, you gave them this much amount, 10 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees, or say 20 lakh rupees as an advance. The film successfully run, now it has been changed. So the sharing arrangement which you have with the distributor, it goes like this. You ought to give them 30 lakh rupees. But still, in the distributor account, you have a balance of 2 lakh rupees. Why is the balance still lying there? What is the reason for this? If the balance is irrecoverable, the distributor is not giving it to you, not going to give you, return it to you, the management should make a provision in respect of such advances, which are considered irrecoverable. Okay. Puja, the construction of that wall of fame, that becomes an asset for the cinema hall, that has to be capitalized. Whatever daily expenses are related to that particular wall of fame, the cleaning, the clearing, the annual renovation, that would be revenue in nature. That would be revenue expenditure. So this is with respect to a cinema hall. Here that is quite simple. The point of cancel tickets, obviously the auditor will make a point. The auditor will inquire of them that if any ticket is cancelled, what kind
Good evening, Vipulji. Good evening, students. Can you hear me? Okay, okay. Yes, good evening, students. Yes, students. Now, this is the last lecture which you are attending today, and approximately 40 lectures we have delivered in auditing. You all understand that there are 13 chapters, out of which 13 chapters are essay based, out of which 8 chapters are, out of 13 chapters, 8 chapters are essay based, and 1 chapter is audit of items of financial statements. That involves verification of assets, liabilities, then income, expenses, assertion based chapters. Audit of items of financial statements, 9 chapters, chapter 9. Then chapter 10 is specifically company law provisions relating to audit, company audit. Chapter 11 is essay based. Chapter 1 to 8 Chapter 1 to 8 are essay based chapters. Chapter 11 is again essay based chapter. And chapter 12 is bank audit. And chapter 13 you are doing audit of different type of entities. Audit of charitable trusts, audit of NGOs and audit of clubs, audit of cinema you were studying right now. Yes, students, now it is time, because examination is drawing near, it is time to revise your studies. It is time for revision. I hope I disclosed to you the strategy, how to prepare for the examination, कैसे आप स्टडीज को हैंडल करें, कैसे आप लर्निंग करें, कैसे अंडरस्टैंडिंग करें, ये सारा मैंने बीच बीच में आके डिस्कस किया था. तो स्टूडेंट्स अभी आप रिवीजन शुरू कर दीजिए अच्छी तरह से, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम चैप्टर 1, 2, 3. बेशक आप सीक्वेंस में ही कर सकते हैं और पैरेलल भी हो सके तो पैरेलल भी चला सकते हैं. यू कैन आल्सो रन द चैप्टर्स इन पैरेलल. लाइक इफ यू स्टार्ट essay based chapters, say chapter 1 and chapter 10 company audit, you can do in parallel. Chapter 2, chapter 10 company audit parallel. Chapter 12 bank audit you can do parallel along with chapter 3, 4 whatsoever. So you can pick up 2 chapters at one time, 1.5. If you allot 3 hours to audit, then allot 1.5 hour for essay based chapter, 1.5 hour for law based like company audit, bank audit. So like this way you can divide your time. Moreover, students, the kind of strategies I have told you, if you work on that, if you have seriously worked on that, students, so believe me, preparation matters. If you have prepared really well, you are bound to get good marks. Nobody can stop your marks. But the condition is that you prepare well for the examination. Auditing is such a subject which requires very, very, very hard work. So understanding, learning, and then performance in the exam, these are all interlinked sort of things. Students ask me, sir, इसको तैयारी कैसे करें? तो मैंने सारी स्ट्रेटजी स्टूडेंट्स आपको बताई थी कि आप कैसे इसको अंडरस्टैंड करो, कैसे लर्न करो, क्या स्ट्रेटजी होगी. अभी रिवीजन का टाइम है, आप चैप्टर्स को रिवाइज करना शुरू कर दीजिए. आरटीपी जरूर करो. आरटीपी में हमने बहुत अच्छे क्वेश्चंस दिए, आप आरटीपी करो. उनके आंसर्स देखो, नहीं आंसर्स नहीं देखो, देखो तरीका क्या होता है. यू डू नॉट गो टू आंसर्स, आप क्वेश्चन देखो और क्वेश्चन का आंसर स्टडी मटेरियल से चाहे आप देख के करो. आप सोचो कि इसका आंसर क्या होगा, स्टडी मटेरियल में क्या हो सकता है. देन यू मैच विद द आंसर्स गिवन इन आरटीपी. तो आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या आपने आंसर सही सोचा था या नहीं सोचा था. डू नॉट डू इन सच ए वे कि आप क्वेश्चन देखो और साथ में आंसर देखो, तो वो इनफर्टाइल अटेम्प्ट रहेगा आपका, उससे आपको फायदा होने नहीं. तो स्टूडेंट्स आप आरटीपी को इस तरह से करो कि पहले क्वेश्चन देखो और जो क्वेश्चन आप देख रहे हो, क्वेश्चन को अच्छी तरह से समझो, एंड देन फाइंड आउट द आंसर ऑफ दैट क्वेश्चन इन द स्टडी मटेरियल without referring to answer given in the RTP. So this is the best methodology you can adopt for doing RTP mock test paper. One mock test paper has already gone, and another mock test paper you will be having in maybe 20-25 days, after 20-25 days of time. Yes, students, what I want to say is we are working day and night for you कि आप एग्जाम में अच्छा कर पाएं. क्लासेस आपके एक्सपर्ट पीपल आर टेकिंग क्लासेस। जो चैप्टर्स हैं वो एक्सपर्ट टीचर्स ने आपको पढ़ाए हैं, चाहे सीए नैन्सी सिंगला हो, सीए शीश बैल जी हो या सीए विपुल साहू जी। तो आपको स्टिल इफ यू आर हैविंग सम डाउट्स, इफ यू आर हैविंग सम कंफ्यूजन, आपको लगता है कि तैयारी कैसे करें, या अभी आपने शुरू नहीं किया तैयारी करना, आपने क्लासेस अटेंड कर ली हैं, व्हाटसोएवर आपकी कोई भी क्वेरीज हैं स्टूडेंट्स, आप बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज को का जो लैंडलाइन नंबर है वहां पर आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हो, कॉल कर सकते हो। आप नंबर नोट कर सकते हो 0120 3045 925 I repeat 3045 925। Vipul ji, if you can write the number on the screen. Vipul ji, you can, students, you can also note my mobile number also. My mobile number is 9466789298. You can call me at any time, students. We are there to serve you, and we at the board of studies do every effort जिससे कि आपकी स्टडीज अच्छे तरीके से स्मूथ चले और आप एग्जाम में अच्छा अटेम्प्ट कर पाओ। लेकिन माई एडवाइस टू ऑल ऑफ यू इज कि आप उसको अच्छी तरह प्रिपेयर करें, और प्रिपरेशन के अंदर आपको कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आती है प्रिपरेशन करते हुए, किसी भी तरीके के कोई डाउट आते हैं स्टूडेंट्स, तो आप मुझे लैंडलाइन नंबर पर कॉल कर सकते हैं। इवन इफ सैटरडे संडे इज देयर, तो आप मुझे मेरे मोबाइल पर भी फोन कर सकते हैं एट एनी टाइम। अगर मैं उस समय फोन नहीं उठाऊंगा तो आपको कॉल बैक करूंगा। माई मोबाइल नंबर इज स्टूडेंट्स 9466789298। You can note down my mobile number 9466789298। Vipul ji, if you can write my mobile number and landline number on the screen.
Sure, sir. Sure. Please.
Please, can you share the screen, Vipul ji?
Yes. I'll write it in the chat box.
No, you
sorry.
Write on the screen on the chapter.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have to write it on the screen. Okay, please. Just a second.
Yes, students, complete hand holding for all of you. Those who have attended the classes or not attended the classes, जिन्होंने अभी तक अटेंड नहीं भी की हैं स्टूडेंट्स, वो भी अटेंड जरूर कर लें। अभी रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर देख लें, और स्ट्रेटजी जो मैं बताता हूं उसको कट शॉर्ट करके भी आप अप्लाई करोगे। व्हाट्सएवर आप मुझे फोन करके पूछ सकते हो स्टूडेंट्स। फोन नंबर मैं अपने दोबारा से शेयर कर देता हूं, हालांकि मैंने बताया पहले भी। लैंडलाइन नंबर इज 0120 3045 925, and cell number is students 9466789298। ये स्टूडेंट्स कभी भी आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हो। अगर मैंने मोबाइल नहीं भी उठाया तो आपको कॉल बैक पक्का करूंगा, दैट रेस्ट एश्योर्ड। और आपकी जो भी क्वेरी होगी स्टूडेंट्स वो सॉल्व की जाएगी, और आप बिल्कुल फ्रीली आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हो। आपको कंप्लीट गाइडेंस मिलेगी, और क्लासेस हमने पूरे टॉपिक्स उसमें कवर किए। वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू एडवाइज यू ऑल ऑफ यू, यूएस पोर्टल पर स्टूडेंट्स हमने रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल में हमने 2 टॉपिक्स को रिवाइज किया है। आप वो वहीं से करें, उसको हार्ड कॉपी प्रिंटेड कॉपी में से ना करें। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट है स्टूडेंट्स। रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल में मैंने 2 टॉपिक्स को रिवाइज किया है। वन इज फ्रॉम चैप्टर 9 डिस्काउंट ऑन इश्यू ऑफ शेयर्स, एंड वन इज फ्रॉम चैप्टर 1 टॉपिक इज फ्रॉम चैप्टर 10 सेक्शन 147 punishment for contravention of the provisions of the Companies Act. So section 147, this is on page number 10.61 of the study material. Section 147 जो वेब होस्टेड कॉपी है स्टूडेंट्स, हमने वहां पे रिवाइज कर दिया चैप्टर 10 के अंदर, लेकिन हार्ड कॉपी जो आपके पास प्रिंटेड कॉपी है उसको उसके अंदर से प्लीज वो मत करें। तो ये दो टॉपिक्स जो मैंने बताए आपको, दो टॉपिक्स, एक तो दोबारा रिपीट कर रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स, चैप्टर 9 के अंदर डिस्काउंट ऑन इश्यू ऑफ शेयर्स, वो आप रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल के नाम से हमने डाला है बीओएस पोर्टल के अंदर। तो व्हेन यू गो टू द बीओएस पोर्टल in auditing subject, you will find revision of study material. So revision of study material, there are two topics which we have incorporated. Number one is discount on issue of shares in chapter 9, and second is section 147 at page number 10.61. Web host jo copy, the copy which is web hosted on the study material chapter 9 and chapter 10, changes have been incorporated in that copy, but in printed copy students, in printed copy which you are having, उसमें वो चेंजेस आपको नहीं मिलेंगे। मेरी सभी स्टूडेंट्स एडवाइस है कि वो उन दो टॉपिक्स को रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल बीओएस नॉलेज पोर्टल पे दो टॉपिक्स जो मैंने रिवाइज किए हैं उसमें से ही करें, वहीं से करें। और स्टिल इफ यू आर हैविंग डाउट्स, तो आप क्लैरिफिकेशन के लिए स्टूडेंट्स किसी भी पॉइंट के लिए, किसी भी स्टडी मटेरियल में डाउट के लिए आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं, जो नंबर स्क्रीन पर शेयर किया मैंने। एंड विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर प्रेपरेशंस, एंड आई होप कि आप मुझे अपनी क्वेरीज, जो आपकी क्वेरीज हैं, आप फ्रीली मुझसे जरूर पूछ लेंगे। विद दीज वर्ड्स स्टूडेंट्स, आई थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर पेशेंट लिसनिंग, and Vipul ji, you can continue the lecture. And if there are queries regarding any point, if students are asking something, students wish to ask something from Board of Studies, I will love to answer those queries.
Thank you, Rajiv sir, for enlightening them on this issue.
So, Vipul ji, are there queries?
Regarding no sir, abhi iske andar students, if you have any queries regarding
what I am discussing,
what Rajiv sir has discussed, I think he's already told how to revise for your audit exam.
वो मैंने 2-3 लेक्चर के अंदर विपुल जी शेयर किया, स्टूडेंट्स को अपनी स्ट्रेटजीज बताई हैं।
हाँ जी।
तो अगर स्टूडेंट्स को फिर भी क्लैरिटी नहीं है या कोई डाउट्स हैं, तो स्टूडेंट्स मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं। अभी मैं राइट नाउ अवेलेबल हूँ, अभी पूछ सकते हैं। The way students want.
Sir, you have told them about some discount part.
Discount on issue of shares. This topic has been revised in chapter 9 also.
Yes,
and chapter 10, in chapter 10, section 147 has been revised.
Okay.
So this students can do from a web hosted copy of the study material, chapter 9 and chapter 10. There we have rectified that.
Chapter 9 and chapter 10, and some part has been rectified. You will find it on the website.
वेबसाइट में जो चैप्टर्स हैं स्टूडेंट्स, हमने वो उसको उसमें अमेंडमेंट कर दिया है, उसको रिवाइज कर दिया है वेबसाइट पर। और रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल हमने डाला है, एक स्पेशल पेज क्रिएट किया गया रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल, वहां पर भी इन दो टॉपिक्स को रिवाइज कर दिया गया। लेकिन ये प्रिंटेड कॉपी जो स्टूडेंट्स, जो प्रिंटेड कॉपी ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल है, वहां पे पुराना टॉपिक आ रहा है, रिवीजन नहीं है। इसलिए मैं स्टूडेंट्स को कह रहा हूं कि आप इसको या तो रिवीजन ऑफ स्टडी मटेरियल में से करें या वेब होस्टेड कॉपी चैप्टर 9 और चैप्टर 10, इन दो टॉपिक्स को आप वहां से करें। दिस इज माय सजेशन टू ऑल ऑफ यू।
And BOS number, yes, the number I have written it on the screen, Rajiv sir's number. You can contact him at these numbers, landline and mobile number. And I write last past question paper as it also been on revision, and the next day I write my papers the time as it will, and then stuff. Okay. What is this batch 5 path? I'm not able to understand. I think Rajiv sir has already told you how to revise. That was the part. And
revise में students, अगर students की query आ रही है विपुल जी?
हाँ, students की how to revise.
Yes, students. अभी last month में जो revision की strategy है students, please understand, last month में अगर आपके पास से आप single group में अगर appear हो रहे हैं, if you are giving single group or appearing in single group, then please understand in last month devote at least 3 hours to each paper and on daily basis. Do not miss out any paper. आप रिवीजन हर रोज करें और हर पेपर का करें, बिकॉज लास्ट मंथ में आप किसी पेपर को छोड़ो नहीं. कोई भी दिन आपका ऐसा ना जाए स्टूडेंट्स जिसमें आपने उस पेपर को रिवाइज ना किया हो. अगर आपके पास 4 पेपर हैं तो आप चारों पेपर को हर रोज रिवाइज करो. दिस इज माय सजेशन फॉर द लास्ट मंथ. क्योंकि इवन इफ आप पहले आप 2 सब्जेक्ट एक दिन में करते थे हैंडल या एक सब्जेक्ट चलेगा, लेकिन लास्ट मंथ में यू नीड टू चेंज योर स्ट्रेटेजी. यू डू नॉट, द लॉजिक बिहाइंड इज कि आप आउट ऑफ टच किसी सब्जेक्ट से मत हो. मोमेंट आप कोई सब्जेक्ट नहीं करोगे तो वो आउट ऑफ टच होएगा और आपको लास्ट मंथ में आउट ऑफ टच नहीं होना है. तो दिस इज दिस वर्क्स एज बेस्ट स्ट्रेटेजी इफ यू फॉलो इट.
They want you to boost their confidence.
Do not be out of touch of any subject. This is my suggestion to all of you.
And any other queries which would you like to ask Rajiv sir? Please go ahead. He's live with you over here. This is an opportunity for you to get your queries solved from the master himself of the subject. Rajiv sir, please come forward. Both group I already done one revision at time I revised and at paper and this right. Okay, there is this girl, she's asking, I have completed study of both the groups and I've already done with one revision. Now I revise and write in paper every day like we attempt our exam. So is this the right strategy?
Okay. Yes. नाम क्या पीपल जी स्टूडेंट? पूजा मैं आपको यही एडवाइस करूंगा कि लास्ट मंथ में अभी आपने पहले लिखने की प्रैक्टिस कर ली होगी, लास्ट मंथ में ज्यादा लिखने की प्रैक्टिस ना करो आप. बिकॉज लिखने से क्यों? बिकॉज यू आर अपेयरिंग इन बोथ ग्रुप्स. लिखने से टाइम ज्यादा आपका वेस्ट हो जाएगा, रिविजन आप प्रॉपरली कर नहीं पाओगे, कुछ चीजें ऐसी हो जाएंगी छूट जाएंगी. एक और मैं बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि लास्ट मंथ में स्टूडेंट्स अपने वीकर एरियाज को मत छेड़ना. जस्ट बैंक ऑन यूर स्ट्रॉन्गर एरियाज. जो आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग टॉपिक्स हैं और वीक टॉपिक्स आपने छोड़ दी थी चीजें थे. वैसे आई डोंट एडवाइज एनी स्टूडेंट कि आप कुछ छोड़ो, आप सारा 100% कवरेज करके जाओ बिकॉज ये एग्जाम है. स्टिल अगर स्टूडेंट्स ऐसा है कि आपने कुछ एक दो इक्का दुक्का टॉपिक अगर छोड़ दिए थे, बार बार अपना ध्यान उस टॉपिक की ओर मत लेके जाओ बिकॉज वो स्ट्रॉन्ग पोर्शन को भी वीक कर देता है. तो स्टूडेंट्स आप वीकर जो आपका एरिया है, जो आपका कम तैयार है, इसको मैं ऐसे भी कहता हूं, जो आपका ज्यादा आपने बहुत ज्यादा प्रिपेयर नहीं कर पाए उसके लिए आप, तो उस पर ज्यादा फोकस मत करो, बार बार ध्यान उधर मत लेके जाओ. वो आपके इसका कारण स्टूडेंट्स ये है कि आपके स्ट्रॉन्गर एरिया को भी वीक कर देगा. अदरवाइज आप लास्ट के मंथ में अपने स्ट्रॉन्गर जो टॉपिक्स हैं जो बहुत अच्छे से आपने किया उनको बहुत अच्छी तरह रिवाइज करिए, ठीक है, और वीकर एरियाज को मत छेड़िए. लास्ट के मंथ जो वीकर एरिया, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा उसे रिवाइज करो, लेकिन उसे आप ज्यादा उधर ध्यान मत लगाओ. दिस इज माई एडवाइस टू ऑल ऑफ यू. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट बिकॉज जो स्टूडेंट्स बोथ रूप दे रहे हैं, जैसे पूजा आप पूछ रहे हो, तो पूजा इफ यू आर अपेयरिंग इन बोथ ग्रुप्स, आपको किसी भी सब्जेक्ट से आउट ऑफ टच नहीं होना है ऑन डेली बेसिस. आपको डेली बेसिस पे सारे सब्जेक्ट्स और स्ट्रॉन्गर यू कैन बैंक ऑन योर स्ट्रॉन्गर एरियाज. दिस इज माय एडवाइस टू ऑल ऑफ यू. और अगर बोथ ग्रुप, अगर आप सिंगल ग्रुप दे रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट आप 3.5 आवर्स कम से कम एक सब्जेक्ट को जरूर पढ़ें. और आप लास्ट के मंथ में स्टूडेंट्स ज्यादा लिखने पे जोर मत दें. मॉक टेस्ट पेपर, राइटिंग मॉक टेस्ट पेपर इज ओके, बट अदरवाइज आप ज्यादा लिखने पे लास्ट मंथ में जोर, बिकॉज लिखने से आपका टाइम वेस्ट होएगा. दिस इज स्पेशली एप्लीकेबल फॉर बोथ ग्रुप स्टूडेंट्स. यस, एनी अदर क्वेरीज देयर?
Students, if you have any other queries, please, Rajiv sir is here to answer your queries. They're asking about other subject. Is it fine with you?
Pardon?
They are asking for revision strategy in the case of exam of tax.
Income tax.
Yes.
Yes, students, income tax is, again, it is law-based paper. I will like to tell about income tax also. There's no problem in it. Yes, students, so income tax है students, that is law-based paper. उसमें आपने कितनी तैयारी, कितना लॉ को आपने अंडरस्टैंड किया है, कितना, बिकॉज उसमें इंटरप्रिटेशन इश्यूज हैं. इनकम टैक्स बिकॉज इट इज ए लॉ, तो लॉ के अंदर क्या होता है, इंटरप्रिटेशन इश्यूज आते हैं. इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पर ज्यादा कंप्यूटेशनल इश्यूज हैं. सो फार एज योर पेपर इज कंसर्न, आपके कंप्यूटेशनल इश्यूज ज्यादा हैं इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पे. जैसे आपको सैलरी के डिटेल में प्रोविजन, पेमेंट ऑफ लाइक ग्रेचुटी का कैसे, आप 3 केसेस जो होते हैं, ग्रेचुटी है, लीव सैलरी है, इन पे आप बहुत अच्छे कमांड करें. ग्रेचुटी का पॉइंट आएगा पेपर में, लीव सैलरी का पॉइंट आएगा. देन पीएफ का क्या ट्रीटमेंट होता है वेरियस केसेस में, स्टैट्यूटरी प्रोविडेंट फंड है, रिकॉग्नाइज प्रोविडेंट, इनको आप अच्छी तरह से, परपोजिट्स है उनमें कितने तरह, हाउस अगर परपोजिट दिया जाता है. सेक्शन 22 चार्जिंग सेक्शन है, हर एक हेड का एक चार्जिंग सेक्शन है. सेक्शन 15 इज चार्जिंग सेक्शन ऑफ सैलरी, सेक्शन 22 हाउस प्रॉपर्टी, देन and then other sources charging section is 56. So income tax में students, so far as income tax is concerned, intermediate level पे आप प्रोविजंस को अच्छे तरीके से अपने माइंड में सेटल करें, स्टेब्लिश करें. जो मैंने स्ट्रेटजीज आपको बताई थी उसी स्ट्रेटजी से आप कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पे ज्यादा इंटरप्रिटेशनल इश्यूज नहीं आएंगे.
ये अपना राजीव सर की वीडियो हैंग कर गई. If we could ask him if he's joining again. I'll ask him. हाँ, मैं पूछता हूँ उनसे. हाँ, okay. Students, just please wait for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just connecting with Rajiv sir. I think there is some technical lag.
I think there was some problem with my connection.
Yes, sir. You are now.
Are there more queries, people?
Sir, there is one query relating to income tax, that income tax has more and more limits and percentages. So limits as per the provisions and much of the percentages. How to remember those limits in the law?
Limits. What I am going to tell you is, this all depends on your preparation. आपने कितनी बार उसको प्रिपेयर किया है. कितनी बार उसको रिवाइज किया है। जैसे मैं एडवाइज करता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को कि आप कम से कम 3 दिन कोई भी प्रोविजन स्टूडेंट करें और 3 दिन तक तो लगातार करें। अगर 3 दिन से भी बात नहीं बनती, से 3 डेज भी आप कंटिन्यूस करते हैं, नहीं बात बनती, तो 5 डेज तक लेके जाते हैं। तो दिस डिपेंड्स कि आपने प्रेपरेशन कितनी साउंड करी थी। तो प्रिपरेशन अभी राइट नाउ आप इस चीज के पीछे मत जाओ। जो मैंने आपको ये बात बताई है, कुछ आपका स्ट्रॉन्गर एरिया होगा इनकम टैक्स में और कुछ वीकर एरिया होंगे। अभी लास्ट का मंथ स्टूडेंट्स ये वाली चीजें सोचने का नहीं है कि आप, बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट गो बैक एंड देन मेक योर प्रिपरेशन। अभी आपके पास 1 मंथ है, 1 मंथ में जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल है, जस्ट बैंक अपॉन योर स्ट्रॉन्गर एरियाज। अभी आप जो लिमिट्स आपको तंग कर रहे हैं, उनको आपको लिमिट्स तंग कर रहे हैं कि ये लिमिट में आई एम अनेबल टू रिकॉल दिस लिमिट्स, यही प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ना बोल जी।
Yes, 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 yes. The
अगर
limits
आप
like
वो लिमिट्स अभी नहीं कर पा रहे, तो मैं आपको ये एडवाइस करूंगा, उनको 5 दिन लगातार कर लीजिए। उन लिमिट्स को 5 दिन लगातार 1 आवर लगा के हर रोज उन लिमिट्स को कर लीजिए। 6th डे आई एश्योर यू आप एग्जाम तक भूलोगे नहीं वो कभी भी। अब ये मेरा एक फॉर्मूला कर लो कि 5 डेज उसको लगातार कर लो। जो लिमिट्स आपको तंग कर रहे हैं, जो प्रोविजन आपको स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं हो रहे हैं, उनको 5 डेज लगातार, अगर 5 दिन नहीं कर सकते, टाइम इतना शॉर्ट है, तो माई एडवाइस हुई 3 दिन तो मिनिमम करो स्टूडेंट्स, जो आपको तंग कर रहा है कोई प्रोविजन। तो आई होप ये स्ट्रेटेजी बहुत वर्क करेगी स्टूडेंट्स, और आप एंजॉय करेंगे रियली। आप ये जो आप टाइमलाइंस हैं, जो परसेंटेज प्रोविजन है, जो भी आपको तंग कर रहा है, जो लिमिट्स है आपको तंग कर रही है, 5 लाख की लिमिट है, 2 लाख की लिमिट है, तो आप फिर उसमें कंफ्यूज नहीं होंगे बिल्कुल भी। 3 दिन तक लगातार उसको करो। दिस इज माय एडवाइस टू यू। वैसे तो 5 दिन आइडियली करना चाहिए, लेकिन बिकॉज ऑफ पॉसिटी ऑफ टाइम स्टूडेंट्स, आप 3 दिन तक तो मस्ट है, 3 दिन तक तो जरूर करो। यस, आई होप आई एम क्लियर।
Yes, sir.
आर देयर मोर क्वेरीज?
No, 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 sir. There are no more queries right now. They are thanking you for telling them such a good strategy.
वी आर देयर फॉर स्टूडेंट्स एंड स्टिल अगर स्टूडेंट्स, मैं सभी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए कह रहा हूं कि कोई भी स्टूडेंट्स जब भी उनको कोई भी बात करनी है मेरे से, स्क्रीन पे फोन नंबर दिए हैं, इन पे कभी भी कॉल कर सकते हैं। आई विल कॉल बैक, दैट इज श्योर, अगर मैं उस समय फोन नहीं उठाया तो। राइट?
They are quite thankful and they seek your blessings for positive results.
I am with them. My blessings are also with them, and I wish all our students should come out with flying colors. And I wish all the best to each and every student. My wishes are with each and every student.
Thank you, sir, on their behalf.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
You can continue with your lecture.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, students. So I hope that was such an enlightening. The last half an hour was quite enlightening for you with respect to your queries, with respect to your anxieties and nervousness, and queries with respect to revising the subjects. And it was so nice of Rajiv sir to have covered the other subjects as well, taxes and everything. I hope this helps you a lot, and you will be following whatever strategies he has told you, and you'll keep that in mind during the last month of your studying for the May exam. So we are left, we have done 2 topics, hire purchase and leasing companies and cinema halls. And now we are left with the last topic of the day, audit of cooperative societies. So let us take a break of 10 minutes. Okay. We'll be joining at 7:50 over here. We'll be resuming with the last topic at 7:50. Okay. Fine. So it is break for 10 minutes and we'll be coming back at 7:50. Okay, guys. So the number of register is still on there on the screen there. Some of you who might have noted down the number, please note it down. Rajiv sir's number is still there on the screen. Please note it down if you haven't. Then we'll move forward with our last topic of the day. Okay, cooperative societies. People form association under the society form of organization, and that is known as cooperative societies. Cooperative with is a term derived from the word cooperation, cooperation of all. If you know, there are some federal cooperative milk societies. They originated in Gujarat. People would get together, form a cooperative society, an association, then the kind of self-help groups in India. The self-help groups, okay. So self-help groups forms associations and they turn into cooperative societies. With the cooperation of each other, they form a society, and these societies are of different types. For example, you would have seen in your TV sitcoms or movies the housing societies, right? They're known by that name, cooperative. They all get together and they run the society, all the maintenance expenses. There is a board, there are members, there is a secretary. They want to organize some event in their society, everything. They do it in the form of a cooperative society with the cooperation of all. The people in the older times, the people, they used to get together, form an association and a society. For example, the milk societies, right? Okay. And what would they do? They would produce and sell milk at economical rates. They would sell that milk to the companies engaged in dairy products. So what are the principles which govern these cooperative societies? The principle of cooperation, the cooperative principle. So a cooperative, also known as coop or coop, is an autonomous, apne aap, on their own, association of persons united voluntarily, swa-ichha, as per their will, to meet their common, their objectives are common: economic objectives, social objectives, cultural needs and aspirations, through a jointly owned enterprise. This jointly owned enterprise is cooperative society. So cooperative society is a business form of organization with a special mode of doing business by pulling together all the means of production cooperatively. Someone has the technique how to milk the cows. Someone has cows. Someone has the equipment required. Someone has marketing strategies how to sell it. So they all get together to form an association in the form of a cooperative society. They pull together all the resources. They produce cooperatively, and there is no need of middlemen to make their produce available to the companies to sell it further to the consumer, or directly they sell it to the consumers, and thus prevent them from exploitation of outside forces. Okay, so cooperative organizations are subject to rules and regulations of the government because cooperative societies have to get themselves registered under the Act. There is this Cooperative Societies Act 1912. This is a central act, which central act means applicable pan India, contains the fundamental law regarding the formation and working of the cooperative societies in India. Many states have their own state cooperative society act as well. For example, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha. There are specific state acts. An auditor of a cooperative society should be well versed with the knowledge of the acts governing these societies. The capital of a cooperative society is raised from its members in the form of share capital. As the share capital is not sufficient to meet its operational cost, it borrows loan from the government or apex cooperative organizations, the cooperative banks. The cooperative banks are the major source of finance for these cooperative organizations. In a cooperative society, each member is given one vote. Very important point for your MCQ and correct and correct. In a cooperative society, each member is given one vote, irrespective of the number of shares held by him. So the voting rights are on membership basis per member, not on the basis of the shares held by them. So in this case, nobody can control the society based upon its share capital. Like in the company, the dominator group holding 51% of the share capital. In this case, if you are a member, you have one vote, irrespective of the number of shares or the value of share capital you are holding. So audit of a cooperative society is conducted as per section 17 of the Cooperative Societies Act. The registrar of cooperative societies, we have heard about registrar of firms for partnership firms, registrar of companies for the companies and the LLPs, and then registrar of cooperative societies. So registrar shall either himself audit or cause to be audited by some other person, get the accounts audited by passing a general or a special order in writing for the audit of accounts of every registered society at least once in every year. The audit under this section shall include an examination of overdue debts. If the cooperative society has lent money and the valuation of assets and liabilities of the society, the registrar, the collector, or any other person authorized by the order in writing in this behalf by the registrar on registrar's order, the person shall have access to all books, accounts, papers, and securities of the society, and every officer of the society shall furnish such information in regard to such transactions and working of the society as the person who is inspecting, who has been authorized by the registrar to audit the accounts of the society. Everything should be made available to him or her. Okay, this was a point. Then a chartered accountant can play a role in the development of a cooperative organization. They can give them guidance in accounts writing, installation of the accounting system, internal audit, management accounting services, and taxation. Accounts writing, we all understand. So accounts writing, we all understand. Then we have this installation of accounting system. It is again fine. Internal audit services, management accounting services, basically related to the financial management part, and taxation services. So audit of a cooperative society, quite simple. You have read about the eligibility requirements of a corporate in the chapter of company audit. We shall take it up over here. Points to be kept in mind with respect to the audit of a cooperative society. The qualification of auditors, how can the auditor be appointed, books, accounts, and other records to be maintained, restriction on shareholdings, restriction on loans, restriction on borrowings, investment of funds, contribution to charitable purposes, investment of reserve fund, contribution to education fund, and appropriation of profits. Let us take this with the help of the module. Okay, just give me a sec. Here we go. सर राम सर दोबारा प्रॉब्लम आ रही है क्वेरी सेशन में. हाँ जी. Okay, we have this qualification of auditors. Apart from a chartered accountant, within the meaning of chartered accountant Act, some of the state cooperative acts have permitted persons holding a government diploma in cooperative accounts or accountancy can serve as the auditor to the government of a cooperative society. So very simple. A chartered accountant as well as state cooperative acts have permitted some people who have diploma in cooperative accounts. Government can also appoint, the registrar can also appoint them as the auditor of a cooperative society. Can anyone send me a query, please? I received the last query at 7:29. It has been half an hour. It is not possible that you guys don't ask me anything, or even if there is no query, you start interacting with me with respect to examples. It's showing to be. नहीं सर, नहीं हो रहा सर. कर दिया मैंने, 4-5 बार कर दिया. अब आया है. नहीं सर, अब आया है. ओके यस पूजा, हाँ पूजा की क्वेरी आई है. पूजा इज गिवन दिस क्वेरी. नो सर, क्वेरीज इज ऑल ओके. ओके फाइन. ये सर इन्होंने आधे घंटे तक क्वेरी पूछी, मैं इसलिए आई एम अमेज्ड. बी हाफ एन आवर हैज पास्ड बाय, दे हैवंट आस्क्ड अ सिंगल क्वेरी. अदरवाइज दे स्टार्ट इंटरेक्टिंग, मुझसे बातें करने लग जाते. ओके फाइन. ओके ठीक है. सो हाँ, appointment of auditor, then auditor of a cooperative society appointed by the registrar, and auditor so appointed conducts the audit on behalf of the registrar and submits report to him. Audit fees is paid by the society as prescribed by the registrar according to the category of the society audited. So societies have their respective categories, and as per the category of the society, scale of fees is fixed. Books, accounts, and other records to be kept by a cooperative society. They have given the example of state cooperative. For example, in Maharashtra, the cooperative societies are required to maintain books of account as per the instruction of the registrar with respect to all sums of money received and expended, basically income and expenditure, all sale purchases, and assets and liabilities of the society. Okay. I'm covering only what is important. I'm making you read over here what is important. Whatever is left, you can read it on your own. Fine. So, for example, what kind of subsidiary books they can maintain? Daily cash sales summary register, a register of collection from debtors, a register of recovery of loans, loan disbursement register, and any other columnar subsidiaries depending on the nature and functions of the society. Okay, this is an important point. according to Section 5 of the Central Cooperative Act, where in the case of a society where the liability of a member of the society is limited, no member of a society other than a registered society can hold such portion of the share capital of the society as would exceed a maximum of 20% of the total number of shares or of the value of the shareholding exceeding rupees 1,000. So there is a member of cooperative society. A registered society can also be a member of other cooperative society. So any individual member of the society, there is restriction on shareholding that he or she cannot hold sharing more than 20% of the total number of shares or of the value of shareholding greater than 1,000. Up to 1,000 and 20% of the total number of shares in case of numbers, and in value up to rupees 1,000. Auditor has to check this point. And if the bylaws of the society are the rules and regulations laid down by the society, they should not be in contradiction to the statutes. Further, this is the liability provided in the Central Act limitation. The state acts may also provide limits as to the shareholding other than provided in the Central Act. Quite simple. Restriction on loans. Section 29 of the Central Act puts restriction on loan. It states that a registered society shall not make a loan to any person other than a member. Quite obvious. You can give loan to a member only and not anyone else. However, with the special sanction of the registrar. So if the registrar allows, you have to seek permission from the registrar. A registered society may make a loan to another registered society only, not a non-member. So as a registered society, you can extend loans to your members only. Even if you have to make loans to non-members, you can make loans, you can extend loans to registered societies, other registered societies only, that too with the sanction of the registrar. Section 29 is restriction on loans. Section 30 is restriction on borrowings. A registered society shall accept loans and deposits from persons who are not members subject to the bylaws of the society. So whatever bylaws the society has made for accepting borrowings from outside, auditor has to check those bylaws. And whatever funds the society is having with it, Section 32 states that these funds have to be invested as follows: in a central or state cooperative bank, in any of the securities specified in Section 20 of the Indian Trust Act, in the shared security bonds or debentures of any other society but with limited liability, in any cooperative bank other than a central or state cooperative bank if approved by the registrar. So no permission of registrar is required if this is a central or state run cooperative bank. But if it is any other cooperative bank, apart from these, permission of the registrar is required, or in any other funds as permitted by the central or state government. Appropriation of profits is whatever surplus the society is having, a prescribed percentage of profits should be transferred to reserve fund before distribution as dividends or bonus to members. We all know about it. A profit and loss appropriation account we used to make. You have to transfer certain fund to the reserve fund before distributing the surplus as dividend or bonus to the members of the society. Section 34 says a registered society with the sanction of registrar, so with the permission of the registrar, can contribute an amount not exceeding 10% of the net profits remaining after compulsory transfer to the reserve fund. So after transferring the amount to the reserve fund and before distributing any dividend or bonus to the members, whatever amount is left, if you want to do charity, you can donate that amount for charitable purpose, restricted up to 10% of those profits. The profits remaining after transferring the compulsory amount to the reserve fund. Whatever is remaining, 10% till maximum amount, 10% till 10% of it you can use for donation, less than equal to 10%, not more than that. And if you want to use your reserve fund, you can use the reserve fund in the business of the society. As per the provisions of that, you can invest it, or you can use to invest it with to promote the projects of the society, but as per the rules of the law. You can contribute to, some state acts have made it mandatory that the societies should contribute annually towards the education fund of the state for the education of the poor, the children of the poor. So whatever rate has been decided by the state act, at that rate you can contribute to the education fund. Okay, then special features of a cooperative audit. Let's move ahead. So special features of a cooperative audit: examination of overdue debts, overdue interest, certification of bad debts, valuation of assets and liabilities, adherence to cooperative principles, observations of the act, verification of members register and examination of their passbook, special report to the registrar, audit classification of the society, discussion of draft audit report with managing committee. Many of the points we have covered till now and in the chapter of audit report. You might be well versed with many of those points. We'll be discussing those points which are new to us over here. Okay. Examination of overdue debts. So overdue debts for a period of from 6 months to 5 years and more than 5 years shall have to be classified. What are overdue debts? Debts which have not been paid and are overdue. The principal, the interest, the installments. So till 6 months it is fine. But from 6 months to 5 years, you have to make one category. And for more than 5 years, you have to make another category. They have to be classified and reported by the auditor. Okay, because overdue debts are a blockage to the working capital. They are a threat to the working of the society, the financial health of the society. Okay, the auditor will analyze further whether these overdue debts can be recovered, if there are chances of recovery or not, and whether they can be classified as good or bad. So for overdue debts, proper provision for those debts, whether has been maintained by the society or not, the auditor has to check it. So overdue interest, the interest which is overdue should be excluded from interest outstanding and accrued while calculating profit. The interest which is overdue, its recovery is uncertain. That should be excluded from the income of interest while calculating profit. Because overdue interest is interest which is accruing in accounts and the amount of principal is overdue. If the person is not able to pay the principal, it is overdue. How would he be able to pay the interest, which is getting overdue on the overdue balance of principal? It is a cycle. So this overdue interest has to be included from the interest income from the profit and loss account. You have to create an overdue interest reserve, and the credit of overdue interest is credited to the interest credit is reduced. So there was 5 lakhs rupees overdue interest. You have to exclude it from the interest income of the profit and loss account because that has been credited to that account on accrual basis. But since its realization is not certain, you will debit it from there and you will credit it to the overdue interest reserve account. Certification of bad debts, if there are any bad debts. So you have to write the bad debts. For example, as per the Maharashtra state cooperative rules, bad debts can be written off only when they are certified as bad by the auditor. So Maharashtra State Cooperative Act rule says that rules which support the act, that are called rules. So it states, the rules state that a society can write off the bad debts in the books, its books, only when their auditor certifies it to be bad. So we all know bad debts are recoverable losses. So if the auditor feels that he has to certify it as irrevocable, he can, and then the society can write it off as bad debts. In other cases, other than Maharashtra, where there is no such requirement, the managing committee of the society can authorize the write-off. But in the case of Maharashtra state, the auditor has been given the power to certify any debt as bad. Valuation of assets and liabilities, I suppose it's quite clear. I don't need to read it again and again. Adherence to cooperative principles, good. That the cooperative society is adhering to the cooperative principles or not. It has to check whether the cooperative organization set up proper procedure are following its working, not in terms of profits, but how are the people extending benefit to each other among the members who have formed the society. The social benefits, the cultural benefits, the objects of cooperatives is not only limited up to profit, but other benefits, social, cultural as well. So middlemen commissions as far as should be avoided, and committee members should directly make the purchase and sale. The principles of propriety audit should be followed for the purpose. What was propriety? With rationality and wisdom, wisely, as if it is your own money. You have to observe the provisions of the act and the rules. You have to check as an auditor, I have to verify the members' registrar and examination of their passbooks. What is their due amount, whether they have paid the society fee, maintenance, any debt they have taken from the society, whether they are paying interest properly, their loan balances. These all I have to check with respect to entries in the members' registration and some sample passbooks. Special report to the registrar. Now this is important. During the course of the audit, if the auditor notices that there are some serious irregularities in the working of the society, he may report these special matters to the registrar, drawing his specific attention to the points. So the registrar, on receipt of such a special report, may take necessary action against the society. So when can a special report be sent to the registrar? Some cases, personal profiteering by some members of the managing committee. They are not taking care of the interest of the society as a whole, but making profits on an individual basis, personal profiteering at the loss of the society's interest. There is detection of fraud relating to expenses, purchases of property and stores, some manipulation, cash defalcation. There is mismanagement in the society. Decisions of the management are against the cooperative principles. Right? Then in the case of urban cooperative banks, disproportionate advances to vested interest groups. So, for example, in the case of, we all have seen what scams have happened with the cooperative banks. Advances are given to vested interest groups, the relatives of the management, negligence is there with respect to their recovery, reckless advances are given without checking the creditworthiness. So this will affect the financial health of the cooperative organization, whether it be a urban cooperative bank. The next is audit classification of society. So this is something, a criteria given, a class given to the society. After a judgment of an overall performance of the society, the auditor has to award a class to the society. As per the act, as per the provisions of the act governing the society, the auditor has to award a class. A category, B category, C category, whatever be the class. This judgment is to be based on the criteria specified by the registrar. It may be noted here that if the management of the society is not satisfied about the award of the class as given by the auditor, it can make an appeal to the registrar, and the registrar may direct to review the audit classification. So, registrar may direct any other person other than the auditor to review whatever classification has been given by the auditor, whether such classification is appropriate or not, because the society is not happy with the audit classification, the class given by the auditor. Discussion of draft audit report with managing committee. So after audit, the auditor should ask the secretary of the society to convene the managing committee meeting to discuss his report, whatever were his findings, communicating the matters to those charged with governance. Minor irregularities may got settled and rectified. Matters of policy should be discussed in detail. So quite normal points. These were quite normal points. Okay. So let us move ahead. Audit of a cooperative society. So what does the auditor has to state in his audit report? Whether he has obtained all the necessary information and explanation which to the best of his knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of audit. We have read this point in audit report. Whether in his opinion to the best of his information and according to explanations given to him, the said account gives all the information required by the act. Whether the profit and loss account of society gives a true and fair view. Whether the balance sheet drawn up as at the year end gives a true and fair view. So profit and loss gives a true and fair view of the working of the society. And balance sheet gives the financial health, the state of affairs as on given date. Whether proper books of accounts are kept, rules and bylaws are being properly maintained. Balance sheet and profit and loss examined by him are in agreement with the books of account. They are not differentiating with each other. The auditor has to give his qualifying observation if anything above of the stated matters is negative. On completion of the audit, the auditor has to submit his report to the society and thereafter the respective authorities such as district special auditor, district deputy registrar. The audit report has to be submitted in prescribed form specified by registrar as well. The form of the audit report to be submitted by the auditor as prescribed by the state acts on a number of matters. The auditor has to take care of in what form he has to furnish his audit report. For example, the rules formed under the Maharashtra State Cooperative Societies Act requires the auditor to make the useful affirmation pertaining to proper maintenance of books of accounts, true and fair nature of financial statements, etc. That he has to include this in his books of account, in his audit report. That whether he agrees that proper books of account are being maintained, and the auditor might have to go for additional schedules like transactions which appear to be contrary to the provisions of the Act, all sums which have been not brought into the account of the society. He finds certain incomes or certain expenses which have not been credited or debited to the books of the society. Any material or property belonging to society which appears to be bad or doubtful but has not been classified as bad or doubtful by the society. Any irregularity or impropriety in expenditure on realizing monies. Any other matters as specified by the registrar in this behalf. In case of nil report, the auditor will have to give a nil report. If anything is nil, he has to issue a nil report, NIL nil. Further, in addition to the audit certificate, the auditor of a cooperative society has to answer two sets of questionnaires known as audit memos. Two sets of questionnaires known as audit memos. The first set of the audit memo or questionnaire is of general nature. The second set is specific for a particular type of society. Audit program questionnaires, audit questionnaire form is the auditor have to narrate each and every observation is also chairman of the society. Part 1 of the report is very important. To previous years. Capital structure contain comments on the working of the society by the auditor. Read into paragraph. Which are the finished products of the routine working. Some loan bonds are missing. documents provided were inadequate, mistakes were there in principles of but one is something which shows very important. Okay, fine. Now coming to multi-state. Our multi-state cooperative society two applies to these societies, which contains all the again the same books, all sums of money received, expended, sale and purchase of goods, assets and liabilities of other relevant items, right? If relating to material, labor, and other relevant items, they have to maintain the audit of a multi-state cooperative society. Similar manner, nothing's changed for giving it a brief reading. Whatever we have qualification of audit report and power of the central government. So what I am concerned with most, you can easily of the central government to direct special audit in certain cases. Audit of multi-state cooperative society. Managed in accordance with prudent. Prudent means practices, whatever the commercial practices should be. Or industry or business, they are affecting the competition in the market. They are causing injury to the interest of trade or industry or business. And it has reached such a financial position or it has released such a financial position that it would endanger its insolvency. The cooperative society could collapse at end of debt. In the case of multi-state cooperative societies. So, special audit of a multi-state cooperative society under Section 77, the central government anytime by order directs special audit for a particular period or periods be conducted. There is a condition when can central government issue this order in case of a multi-state cooperative society. Central government shall order for special audit only if that government, central government or the state government, either by itself alone or both, jointly hold more 51% or more than the paid up share capital in that particular multi-state cooperative society. They can order special audit only in this case if they are the dominant stakeholders, shareholders, 50%, 1% or more paid up share capital, either the central government alone or the state government alone or both altogether. So they themselves the central government will appoint a chartered accountant or the multi-state cooperative society's auditor himself to conduct the special audit. So whosoever has been appointed the auditor of multi-state cooperative society, they can be asked to conduct the special audit or the government may appoint a chartered accountant or themselves on their behalf, a separate person. The special auditor has same powers as given to the auditor under Section 73. Contents of the audit report, the special auditor shall, instead of making his report to the members of the society, the report shall be made to the central government because it is the central government which is getting the audit conducted. On the receipt of this report, the central government may take such action on the basis of report as it considers necessary. If the central government does not take any action on the report within 4 months from the date of the receipt of the report, if the central government is not taking any action, it is sitting silent, 4 months have passed, the report shall be sent to the multi-state cooperative society, either its copy or relevant extracts, and it will be asked, the society will be asked to circulate that copy to the members or have it read in its next general meeting, read aloud in the next general meeting. The special audit was conducted by the government. This was a report. The government has sent it to us and we are reading out it in the general meeting. Or if they want, they can send it to the members. The expenses of special audit are decided by the government, central government, which appoints the auditor, but paid by the multi-state cooperative society. And if the society is unpaid, the government is there to get it recovered from that society for the auditor. Okay. Now, section 77 with respect to special audit. There is section 78 with respect to inquiry. So, when can this section be invoked? If the central registrar receives a request from a federal cooperative to which multi-state cooperative society is affiliated. The multi-state cooperative society has received an affiliation to a federal cooperative, any other society, or a federal cooperative or form of organization, or a creditor or not less than 1/3 of the members of the board. So, a federal cooperative or any of the creditor, or if there is members of the board, not less than 1/3, at least 1/3 members of the board of the society, or not less than 1/5 of the total number of members. So it is either a federal cooperative or a creditor or not less than 1/3 of the members of the board. So at least 1/3 or more than the members of the board. Or not less than 1/5 of the total members of cooperative society. So at least greater than equal to 1/5 of the total members of the society. So if the registrar receives a request from these people, any of these people, so the registrar may ask for inquiry. And how? The inquiry, he can ask to hold an inquiry or direct some person authorized by him in writing to hold an inquiry into the constitution. How is the governing board, the board of the society constituted, the working and the financial condition of the multi-state cooperative society. However, before holding such inquiry, I hope everybody is clear with the meaning of inquiry. 15 days notice must be given to the multi-state cooperative society. Principle of equity and justice, opportunity of being heard, that why should we not conduct an inquiry upon you? 15 days notice should be given to the multi-state cooperative society at least a gap of 15 days to conduct the inquiry. They should be given an opportunity of being heard. So central registrar or the person to whom the central registrar authorizes on this behalf shall have the following powers: reasonable access to the books, documents, keeping in mind the rules of the act, but he need not withstand any bylaws with respect to the multi-state cooperative society. He may ask that if the society's general meeting is to be convened, this is the procedure, this is the method, he may not withstand any such laws. He may ask for a general meeting of the society be convened by giving notice of not less than 7 days. So at least 7 days notice, he'll ask the management to give a notice of 7 days and conduct a general meeting, and I want to be present at that meeting and I want to make inquiries of all. He may summon any person who he believes that has knowledge of the affairs or mismanagement or any malpractices going on in the society, the multi-place cooperative society, at any place at the headquarters of the society or any branch of the society. And he may examine that person on oath. Like in court, मैं गीता पे हाथ रख के कसम खाता हूं, the same way. He may examine him on oath. So he'll give a report to the central registrar. The registrar will follow up within a period of 3 months with the committee and will communicate this report to the multi-state cooperative society as well, to the financial institutions with which the society is affiliated. Society must have taken a loan from some bank or financial institution. The registrar will give the report of this inquiry conducted by him to those financial institutions as well, within a period of 3 months of the date of receipt of report by this person who has been authorized by the registrar to make an inquiry. Inquiry into the business, inquiry into the working of the organization. You know all inquiry, asking questions, clearing certain doubts. So section 77 is special audit, section 78 is inquiry, and section 79 is inspection of the books, inspection of the societies on site. Section 79. So again, the same people, they can request the central registrar for inspection. The registrar, by general or special order in writing, may direct any person authorized by him in order writing to make an inspection into the constitution, working and financial condition. Again, 15 days notice of opportunity of being heard to be given. And whatever the powers they have, access to the books of accounts, because inspection can be made of the books, accounts, papers, vouchers, physical properties. They can, the inspector can get a meeting convened at any time, bypassing the bylaws of the society. And every officer or member of the society is bound to give whatever is required by the inspector for inspection. The inspector submits his report to the registrar, and registrar, again within a period of 3 months, has to communicate the report to the multi-state cooperative society. So with respect to multi-state cooperative society, what we have heard, the books of accounts they need to maintain. First point was that. Second part was the points related to their audit, 5 points. Third point, special audit of a multi-state cooperative society, section 77. These are the points which need to be taken care of. Then section 78, inquiry. Section 79, inspection. So special audit, inspection, and inquiry. You need to differentiate between these 3 aspects of a multi-state cooperative society. This finishes your last topic and the chapter for the day and the chapter of this batch. Any doubts, please come up with. I'll be uploading these notes by tonight, the whole chapter notes in one go by tonight, and we have some questions as well. I have some questions at the last as well for you people, for you to go through and revise these questions. We have this, okay? So the slide numbers are also written along with, where you'll find their answers. Government audit, duties of CAG, special steps involved in conducting the audit of an educational institution. Okay. Then about the report of the multi-state cooperative societies auditor, powers and duties of auditors under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, NGO audit, then hospitals audit, then audit of government expenditure, audit of a charitable institution, hospital again, then audit of accounts of a partnership, then different types of lease agreements, and some case specific questions, some correct incorrect questions are there as well. So there are some practice questions I'll be giving to you, and please do practice the module questions as well. From this chapter, you are not going to get any twisted or indirect questions. There is least probability, because this is a practical oriented chapter and you have to remember the specific audit program points. Any doubts till now, please, or we'll wind up? Come up with the doubts, please. If you have any. Yes, sir. Concluded. Okay, Ji.